Blu-ray stacking up, yeah, the collection grows. Singing like nobody's watching, let the good times flow. Movies on repeat, yeah, he living that life. Great guy, big heart, yeah, he doing it right. Screen light glowing while the speakers bang. Sammy G vibing to the scenes and the frames. Love for the art, yeah, the passion stay true. From the first press play to the end credits roll.
Hello all, welcome back to another video and welcome to Sammy G's World of Cinema. Today on the channel, guys, I'm going to do kind of one of these like recommendations videos. I just love doing these kind of videos. I've had a bit of a kick doing like these sort of videos. I would love to kind of do actually a recommendations video for like 2000s comedies, because I'm very much on a 2000s comedy kick at the minute. But I thought in the meantime, I would do 5 film recommendations devoted to indie films, like indie dramas, which you know me, guys, if you know my channel. Obviously, you know, like indie dramas are like my bread and butter, but I do love, obviously, comedy dramas as well. They're just, those kind of movies are just my favourite kind of movies. And I wanted to talk here about 5 films that one of which is a bit more well known, but the 4 other films I would class as very underrated. But I thought I saw them as like indie films, and I still wanted to share a bit of light and a bit of a spotlight on these 5 films, and just want to kind of mix up the content as well for you guys and not kind of making it rinse and repeat or anything. So yeah, anyways, enough waffling there. The first indie film recommendation I'm going to give is a film that my wonderful friend Ollie just talked about like recently, and he watched on my recommendation actually. And yeah, Ollie, pal, I'm really glad you enjoyed this one actually. And that is a film called Cyrus. So this came out 2010. Now, I first watched this film on I think it was with me and my dad. We watched it like on Film 4 like one day. I think it was either one afternoon or something. And this is a film that me and my dad, we both were interested in checking out, and we checked out this film. And Cyrus, yeah, watched this 12, 13 years ago for the first time. This was when I actually was discovering like the likes of Jonah Hill and John C. Reilly as actors at that time as well. I was kind of discovering their filmography. And yeah, this is a film that kind of fell under the radar. So basically, you see John C. Reilly, he's just come out of a bit of a divorce, a harsh relationship with Catherine Keener's character. And of course, he then meets the other actress, Marcia Tomei's character, who's actually beautiful. She's beautiful in this. And basically, they just start to have a bond. I think they meet at like a bar or party. And then, yeah, they start like going out together. And then basically one day out of the blue, John C. Reilly's character, I think he's called John in this film, I'm pretty sure. He goes up to I think, I'm trying to think, is it gosh, what's her name? Is it Alice? Anna, like the main actress. He goes to her house, and then he discovers that she's got a son played by Jonah Hill. You know, I think he's like in his 20s, I think. Still living at home. He's like a musician. To be on good terms at the start, but then you kind of see a little bit of conflict here and there. And this is all kept at a bit on the down low and kept from Marcia, Tomei's character, and just to kind of keep the peace and keep their cool there. But yeah, you find that Cyrus has got his own like ways of doing things and habits, and it kind of gives I think it is John C. Reilly's character the cold shoulder there, giving each other evils at one point. But then you do see that they're starting to then get on and stuff now in some agreement. But this is a really good, like, if you love kind of like me, if you love like these indie dramas, like it is classed as a comedy, but I would class this as more like a indie drama in my opinion. But really solid acting. I love the scenes where they're going to like the park and stuff, and there's like this nature scenic like I think when they're going around the park and that, and you've got that real peaceful score as well. One quite comical scene where I think it's quite similar to what happens in The Cable Guy, actually, come to think of it. John C. Reilly, yeah, I think he's like has karaoke with Don't You Want Me, which I think also that happened in The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. So good film, that Cyrus, and yeah, all these actors are great as well. Then a film with that is very underrated as well, like in my opinion, and that is a film called Detachment. Now, if I was going to compare this to another film, but that other film, I don't think I watched all the way through it. So I need to actually watch that film in full, but I can imagine they're quite similar. And this is the film Detachment. Now, the film I was thinking was Half Nelson with Ryan Gosling, but I haven't watched it in years. I can barely remember anything about it. But if there was a film I was going to compare Detachment to, it would be that film. But Detachment, Adrian Brody, again in the leading role here. And you've got the likes of James Caan, Bryan Cranston, Lucy Liu's in there as well. You've got Marcia Gay Harden's in there. You've got a really good cast to this one. And you're basically just following this substitute teacher played by Adrian Brody. And you kind of see his sort of like connections with like 3 different characters. There's this teacher, there's someone in his classroom, someone else that is out on and about on the streets, trying to stay away from being in trouble with the law. One of his students is struggling with depression. There's a teacher that in their similar age to Adrian Brody, and she's got a bit of a thing for him. Then you find Adrian Brody again, like late at night, he notices that someone's kind of struggling in the streets, and he's trying to, like kind of help that person get back on track there. And really good film. Again, this film did feel like a bit of a documentary, although it is and actually a film. It does feel like a documentary at times, where in the sense where there'd be close-up scenes of like each character at one point, but it is actually an actual film opposed to a documentary. But one really daunting scene that I did not expect from a mile off, like towards the end. I won't go into what happens there, but it is a very subtle scene. One scene where a character breaks down, and it's just really that it has that emotional beats there. But yeah, this is a really good, powerful film. Adrian Brody, this might be one of his best like performances in this film, and I think this film is super underrated. I think I got the Blu-ray there for about £7 when I think it's quite out of print now. So yeah, definitely if you love like kind of that cast, but you like a film about obviously like a teacher, and you're learning from that teacher's perspective, definitely. And a film probably like Half Nelson, although I do need to go back and revisit that film, definitely would check that one out as well. Then a film I don't believe I have ever talked about on my channel before. Now, Detachment, I should say, actually, sorry, I'll quickly mention, first time how I came about that film was, I think I rented the DVD, I think, from Halifax Library 10, 11 years ago when I was still living in back in West Yorkshire at the time. And yeah, I think I rented that film on DVD, and again, I just was really just wowed by what an impressively really good film that was. But Super Dark Times, I'm pretty sure I watched this during COVID, during the pandemic. At this similar time, now I mentioned this film to an ex-work colleague. Because I mentioned I watched this film, then he recommended me Mean Creek afterwards, which is very similar to that film. Mean Creek, again, haven't seen it for about 5-6 years or something, so I do need to go and refresh my memory on that one. But it's probably because of this film how I went on to watching Mean Creek, and that is the film Super Dark Times. Now, never spoken about this film on my channel, I don't think, and this is a very underrated psychological, like, indie film, this. Now, there's these two lads that are still, like, I think they're at school, both best friends. They're called Zach and Josh, and basically they kind of clash heads with this like bully in their same year group. I think is he called Ralph? I think he is. Ralph has just given them a bit of a hard time for like a while now, and then they decide. It's Ralph, I think, and his friend goes to Josh's house, and they decide to meet together. And I think again, just have they would just be going over to like Josh's house, and I think they would just be hanging out for a bit. But then they discover again, without really going spoiler territory here, that an item of Josh goes missing, and they think it's Ralph that steals it. Then they go again. I think they meet again, and you find they go to the forest, and then they have a bit. There's a bit of a dark turn where one character clashes heads with another character. And one character kind of they have a real disagreement. And then it takes this film into complete 180. And then one character is left with a real dark secret because of this disagreement and how this disagreement turned out. And to the sense that one character in this film has this dark secret because of really taking this disagreement and to like the next level. So then it basically flips the film on its head, and then the witnesses of this kind of disagreement, you find that they start to be more and more distant from Ralphie. But then basically when there's this sudden secret that happens, then they're trying to, then it's like when you see Ralphie, he's like much more and more distant as the film goes on, and then you find that there is sheer consequences where you see either Josh and Zach, and they know what's happened that very day. And the witnesses as well, they're trying to kind of keep this all on the down low. And yeah, it's a really cool, like, mysterious feel that happens, but you know as the audience what happened within that disagreement, but you're kind of waiting for either Zach or Josh's parents or anyone else that's associated with these characters to eventually find out the real truth. And there is a bit of a tension there and a bit of a build-up. But yeah, this is a really good indie flick. I don't think this ever got like a physical release over here in the UK. But again, it's kind of has a little bit of a 2000s-esque quality about it. But again, I just love how the way the film is shot. Again, I think they're all like on bikes, I think, at one point, and they go across these woods and they just like hang out together. You see, I think there's a bit of a relationship involved in this film. I've only seen this film the once, but I do remember this being really good. If you love Mean Creek, this is probably a film for you, I would say, as well. So that is the film Super Dark Times. I'm going to go for a film by Todd Solondz. Now, is it Todd Solondz? I probably butchering that name, I do apologise, but the same director of the film Happiness, which I'm still yet to see, but I think this film came out before it, and I discovered this film through Radiance Films as a boutique line, and that is the film Welcome to the Dollhouse. So This is a fantastic indie film, indie drama, coming of age story, whatever you want to call it. Like, the soundtrack is killer, no filler, and it's a really good time. It's got that really grungy, you know, like, bite of the apple to it. It's got that real, like, oomph, that bite of the apple to it. And it's, again, got out of that real, like, grungy. There's this score piece that comes in and out the film, and it's got a really grunge sense to it that you kind of are, like, sort of on board with this, with the style of filmmaking it is in this film. But you find, again, the main girl in it, I think she's called Dawn, you see, she gets a really harsh time at school, gets bullied. Again, she's very herself to herself in this film. She hangs out with this guy this lad as well, like at the same school as her, and they basically go to the on like clubhouse, I think in Dawn's back garden. But then you find there's this main bully in there, Brandon, and Brandon is a bit of an arsehole. He's not a very likable character in this. But then you see, out of the blue, like, Dawn and Brandon, they start to get on well with one another at one point. But you see the kind of, like, more, like, they kind of because they're both in this, like, the same, like, age and year group and that, and you see that they're kind of, you know, like, starting to hang out with one another, but they're wanting to keep it as a secret still because everyone else thinks that them two just don't like each other. So there's that, but there's an interesting side story as well where Dawn's brother, older brother in the film, I think it's Steve, I think it might be Steve, I'm pretty sure. He's got his own like band, like garage band, and the guitarist, I think the guitarist, is it the singer or guitarist of the band? Dawn starts to actually really like this guy, and she starts to fall for him. But yeah, and then when you see she's starting to fall for this guy, this lad in Dawn's brother's, Steve's band in this film, I think it is Steve, the name of Dawn's brother, and I've got to say, the original song, I think it's a couple of the original songs and stuff is actually not bad. It's actually quite good, to be fair. And but also Dawn has got like a lot, she's got a lot on her plate where her sister she's finding her to be a bit obnoxious. Her mother-daughter clash heads. They don't really get on well with each other. A segment of this film where Dawn is trying to find where her sister went. Her sister went away somewhere, and then Dawn's trying to find where her sister went. And there's just so much packed into this film, right? And I think this film is only like 90 minutes or something, or 90 plus minute. But there's so much going for it. There's obviously a bittersweet rivalry between Dawn and this bully. A segment of the movie where Dawn is falling for this guitarist, or I think singer in her brother's band. And then her sister, Missy, goes missing for one segment of the film, and you learn why. And then also you get a segment of the film where you learn about why Brandon is spending time away from school, his school, or he's not spending as much time with Dawn in this film as they did earlier on. There is so much going on in this film, and then they've got the clubhouse as Dawn and her friend in this. It's a really interesting, really good film. So I'll say to you, if you love the film Dinner in America that came out, I think, during the pandemic 2020, definitely give this film a watch, because yeah, I think these two films have got a couple of similarities there. So that is the film Welcome to the Dollhouse. I'm quite interested to check out more films from this director, Todd Solondz, there, so there's that one. And the last film to talk about in this video is a film that, yeah, I know went up for Oscars, and I don't know if this would class on as a full-on indie drama, but I still wanted to give this film like some spotlight. Haven't spoken about this film a great deal on my channel, probably like once or twice or something. But yeah, I watched this during the pandemic and I was absolutely blown away by it. You know, like just again, I remember when this film was going up for the Oscars during 2021 time. And I watched Sound of Metal. Yeah, so I've seen this film twice. I haven't actually gone back and rewatched it for about 5 years or something after picking up the Blu-ray, which I've still got because I love this film so much. And Riz Ahmed, Darius Marder, who I think did the, I think worked with, is it Derek Chin France on Place Beyond the Pines. I think he worked within that film, Place Beyond the Pines. So with that connection and knowing he directed Sound of Metal, I had to check this film out. And yeah, fantastic film about this drummer who's in a heavy metal band. You find that then he's slowly becoming like deaf one day, and he just can't hear. It just turns his life upside down. He just like, this is a life-changing experience from him. It's very life-changing, very sudden. And then, yeah, it happens out of nowhere where he just can't hear. His partner, played by Olivia Cook, I think is the singer in the band, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, she starts to discover this. So basically what happens is heavy metal band's drummer, played by Riz Ahmed, decides to goes to this like community, like this program for people who are deaf, and he meets a community of people who are also deaf. Riz Ahmed Ruben is very overwhelmed by this, only because this is just something he's never ever encountered before in his life. It's very life-changing for him, you know, like his career was on an all-time high, and you know, like his band as well, and you know, the love of his life, played by Olivia Cook. And yeah, they basically just, you know, like they basically like having the time of their life. It flips on its head when he discovers that he is deaf. So he is taking into account that this is a new experience for him. But then he kind of doesn't want to be alone here. So he goes to that community, he goes to this community for people who are deaf, and he meets new people. The main guy, who I've got to say, he's lovely. This main guy who runs like this community as well. He's such a lovely guy, actually. They all start to do like these activities together. They start to like hang out with one another. I think they would even at one point go on like a road trip together. And yeah, and that's where Ruben starts to like, starts to make friends and stuff. And I think there's one main side character in this who I think it was the later seasons of The Walking Dead, and she is a fantastic actress. The ending definitely was not what I was expecting as well, and it kind of leaves this film like on a bit of a hanging threads there as well, like what could have possibly happened after the end credits rolled in, after the last scene of the film. Riz Ahmed is great in this. I'm pretty sure Olivia Cook won Best Supporting Actress in this film, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure she did. Fantastically directed by Darius Marder, who was the screenwriter for The Place Beyond the Pines, which is one of my favourite films ever. I absolutely love and adore that film. Sound mixing as well. Again, the acting, and it's just so impactful. It's a bit of a roller coaster as well, and yeah, just learning from like the drummer's perspective and his new experience in this film. So fantastic film. That's Sound of Metal. So yeah, guys, that has been my 5 indie film recommendations video. So hopefully there was something for everyone in this video, and do let me know, guys, if you've seen any of these films And if you have done so, what is your thoughts on any of these movies? I would love to know all of that good stuff in the comments down below there. And yeah, if you've got any indie film, indie drama recommendations, guys, you're more than welcome to feel free to let me know in the comments. The more indie drama recommendations, the better, I say, because they are like my comfort go-to movies and just, you know, like my favorite kind of movies as well. So yeah, I hope everyone is having a wonderful weekend, and I'll be back for more content soon now. So thanks for watching, cheers for stopping by, and until next time, I'll see you for the next video. Bye bye, take care guys, thank you so much.
It's Ollie and Sammy G in the house, talking shit, watching flicks. Sam can't sing, but he is nearly good at it. Ollie does the dancing, Sam is entrancing. Sam has added another one to the collection today. In conclusion, today has been a great day.